Talk. Hey, welcome to I Want to Talk. I'm Dee Snider. Obviously, the great thing about podcasts is you very well know who you tuned into and the show you tuned into. So when you do radio, you're supposed to keep rebranding the show throughout, keep reminding people who you're talking to, reminding people who you are, reminding people the name of the show. But that's because people are, button pushing on radios or turning the dial. So they made a stumble and you have to remind them. But you guys are here, so you know who it is and why you're here. I'm waiting for Jose Mangin. Legendary heavy metal air personality, DJ, host of Sirius XM's Liquid Metal, Octane, all the metal shows. He was I believe the last host of Headbangers Ball on MTV. So we've got that in common. We've been friends for a long time. I want to talk to him about metal, but as always, I like to talk to him about the journey, like how he got to where he is right now, because he's one of the dominant forces and influencers in heavy metal today. And I know when my album came out, it was I hope Jose likes this, because even though it's not all about what he likes, he's the gatekeeper in a lot of ways. He's the program director over at SiriusXM. But while I'm waiting for him to walk in, I just want to vent for a minute. And in this venting, venting, I'm going to be probably un-PC. I'm old, and I've used terminology sometimes that I was raised on, and I know that certain terminology isn't PC, and I appreciate the un-PC-ness, and I know that, yeah, it's not a cool word to say or phrase to say, but I don't know the new phraseology. Like my daughter's always tearing me a new one because when I use words like transsexual or transvestite, and she goes, "That's not the right word, Dad. They don't say it's trans." And and I said, "Baby, I used to wear freaking pantyhose and garters and stockings and women's lingerie." I said, "I'm not gay bashing, and I'm not I'm anything. I'm a champion for that. I don't know the right words. I'm an old guy, and I haven't appropriated them." So I'm just going to vent for a minute, and it's really an odd take on what's going on with these shootings and these bombings. Well, it's not a bombing, but the bomb sending, but the shootings. And and I know you might say that's not the point, Dee, but to me it is. Why is it that these pussies, there's one of those PC words, non-PC words, but that's the word that we call them, these wimps, these cowards, armed to the teeth with body armor, so they're fully protected. Why do these pieces of shit never storm a police station? Never a military base. Somebody's saying, what about Fort Hood? Okay, with rare exception, they never attack a gun shop or a gun show. They always go for the weakest, most defenseless people with no hope or preparation and no chance of protecting themselves. Armed to the teeth and with body armor. What? Because somebody might throw a prayer book at them? It is angering to me that these unhappy people, let's say that, unhappy, angry people are such cowards that they can't represent their frustrations and their violent opinions on an even playing field. They can never make their stand someplace where A, their point will be made, and B, the people that they're trying to make the point with the guns, can actually defend themselves and fight back. And I don't have the answer, except that they are pathetic, miserable pussies and cowards. Not a man amongst them. Not a man. In my lifetime, real tough guys never waste their time with weak people. Never waste their time. You're really tough. You step in the ring with someone you're equal or better. That's a tough guy. That's a man. That's a badass. And you're saying, D, should you really be talking in terms of like, well, okay, so get your guns and get your body armor and then, and then start shooting at people who have guns. Well, I'd rather that. Of course, I don't want either situation at all. There's no reason for doing that. But be fucking, and it's all men. And I know saying man enough is not a PC term, but that's how I was raised. By a Korean War vet cop. Man the fuck up. That's what Dad would say to me. Probably with Nancy at the end of it. Man the fuck up, Nancy. No, my dad never used profanity, but he was tough. But yeah, not just pathetic cowards, not a man amongst them. Have the fucking balls to at least confront somebody who has a chance of fighting back. Always, always, always just, shooting. It's like these hunters, and they're out there who pay money to hunt animals that are on, in a controlled environment. Seated. It's like saying shooting fish in a barrel. That's the saying. Meaning, yeah, it's very easy to kill things when they're trapped and you're in a controlled position and they can't defend themselves. And that's what these shooters always do. It's always the weakest amongst us. I mean, God, in Pittsburgh, they shot 2 mentally challenged men. I mean, and a 97-year-old woman. Dude, you're alive. I know you won't be watching this, but I hope somebody's saying it to it. Really? Tough guy? A 97-year-old woman? Boy, you showed her. Boy, you showed us. You showed everybody how much you hate the Jews. You shot a 97-year-old woman. 97. You didn't, charge in on any Israeli military known to be one of the most lethal armies in the world. No, never. Well, they've got that whole Israeli military karate. They're just snap your neck, your fat fucking neck. No, of course, you pussy. God, I wish. Pussy. Not a PC word, but that's what it is. That's what they said when I was a kid. Pussy. Fucking pussy. You shot a 97-year-old woman. You shot 2 elderly, mentally challenged people. You killed a couple of elderly people who were married for 62 years. Married in the temple that you shot. They died together in. Boy, you're tough. You guys are such badasses. Such a badass. Now I got to talk to Jose Mangin, who's still not here. He's trying to park in the garage. By the way, I want to talk. I got the call from one of the company heads here at Gas Digital Media. Told me show was off to a very good start, a great start. He said it's reacting really well. Got thousands of you already tuning in, which is awesome. And I hope you continue to spread the word. And he said, look, and this is the truth. It's, it's what, and they call it there's something called like rolling it out. Okay. And that means in the business means, you don't do the big splash announcement, promotion, advertising, and all that kind of stuff. Initially, you let it get out there first. And so it helps me getting my legs as far as a host goes and what I want to do and get into the groove of doing this kind of thing. And then once I go, here's Jose. Jose, come on. I'm already recording, but just come on in here. I was just venting about something I don't want to talk about anymore. But but now the show's reacting. So now, man, there's cans. You got your mic right there, and they're feeling really good about the reaction. So please continue to spread the word. They're going to be doing more promotion on the show, letting people know about I Want to Talk. And subscribers. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't do this for free. Right now I am, but I won't continue to do it for free because, I've got all these things that I do. Just came off the road with Rocktopia. I've got my new album out there touring. I'm doing things. This is what I do for a living. So much as I love talking and yapping, and I could sit in a room by myself and play with myself, at the end of the day, this is what I do. Radio, TV, movies, all that stuff is what puts food on the table and takes care of my family and all those kind of things. So I hope you'll subscribe. Subscription is really inexpensive. Go to Gas Digital Media. It's all sorts of bonuses. I've been doing a lot of bonus features. I just recorded some bonus features talking about the Snider Halloween, which used to be an event. I say it used to be because kids all grew up and we sold the big house in suburbia. But so there's definitely things, extras that you'll be interested in. But enough of that. Jose Mangin, my friend.
What's up, D? What's up, brother? Yeah.
What size truck are you driving?
Hey now, check. Yo.
You got to get his microphone on.
Yo, check. Hey now. Good. What's up? I'm catching my breath, D. I walked right by this place. I went the other way, and I was like, man, where is it?
You got water? You cool?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you. Yeah, the truck didn't fit, man. That's a narrow, man. That stuff always panics me.
It's low. Look, I am a juxtaposition. I don't know, position. I drive a Tesla.
Okay.
My other car.
Super nice. My daughter's want to have one of these days.
My other car is an H2 Hummer.
Okay.
So and on the sticker on my Tesla says my other car is a Hummer, and on my Hummer it says my other car is a Tesla.
Nice.
Just to confuse people. But my H2 Hummer cannot fit in many garages.
No, and the ones you can barely fit in, it's so panicky because if you get higher or lower in the levels, D, then it starts to get narrow and narrow.
As you get in there, you feel like it's getting smaller.
Oh man, dude, it's just like my family panics. Everybody starts freaking out. Like the daughter, and when you have a car full of people panicking, it's not good.
And I don't know about you, but the thing that hits first is my antenna.
Yeah, of course, and it makes all that vicious
ting, it's hitting. And then my wife will literally climb out the window.
Yes,
she's going,
and hold it.
You've got 3 inches. 3 inches. She's like yelling at. She's like yelling out the window.
Will hold the antenna down, and so that way it doesn't make that crazy noise, and the panicking stops.
Yeah, she holds the antenna and tells me, "All right, you're good. Stop.
Yeah,
and then what do? You've gone in so far, and there's some freaking water pipe under there, and now you got to back out of the garage. It's insane.
That's why I won't go spelunking, D. I won't go into caves, into tunnels. I don't want to go into that stuff, man. I don't need to be there. I'm all right, dude. I like space. I like the desert. I like cacti and stuff, man. So
I was teasing you before, not teasing you, but teasing your appearance. And
you were teasing my appearance.
I was saying, anyway. And I was saying, we met officially at the Headbangers Ball reunion.
20th anniversary of the Headbangers Ball.
Yes.
Filmed on location, Duff's in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. And
2008-ish. Yeah.
Were you it was you, me, Jamie Josta,
Ricky Rackman.
And Ricky Rackman.
Yeah.
And me, I'm considered the first because I had the idea for
You are the first, brother.
Heavy Metal Mania, and which became Headbangers Ball after I hosted for 18 months. And you were the last host?
The last host when MTV kind of gave a crap about it. And I had to beg them, indeed, to allow me to do it, allow me to do something for it, to have its name out there. I would film these little episodes on my videotape, and I would have people hold the camera, whether it was interns or tour managers or whoever was hanging out nearby. I did it pretty ghetto, and I would edit the stuff and I would give it to MTV. And we had a few specials that they put some money into, like that 20th anniversary special, and then the other ones, they just let me gather content as I was getting stuff for Sirius XM. Afterwards, I'd be like, oh, hey, Dee, do you mind doing doing a 5-minute thing in my office? It's for Headbangers Ball. And you'd be like, yeah, of course. So then my friend would hold the camera, and then I would do a quick little Headbangers Ball video.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Well, and I was saying that, you know, you are, you know, Sirius XM, the metal guy.
19 years, man.
19 years.
Yes, sir.
So you got Liquid Metal. What
Octane.
Octane.
I mean, the babies, my sons, in order, are Liquid Metal. I mean, his name was Heart Attack back in the day. It was Sirius because there was 2 different companies, XM and Sirius.
Right.
And so I was always New York City Sirius, and then there was XM in DC. But the metal station is my oldest son, and I love him so much. I'm very proud of him. Liquid Metal is his name now. And then the next son I had was Octane, and I gave birth to Octane, a program director, ran that, managed that, hired all the DJs, trained them, I did, and voiced it, did that for years. Ozzy's Boneyard came around a little later.
That's part of your are you the program director for
Ozzy's Boneyard? I started it with Ozzy and Sharon. I went to his house many times, and I had to send in playlists to Sharon and see if it was okay. And we were just doing that to be polite, you know. It wasn't like afterwards we said, oh, Sharon said we can't do this, you know. It wasn't even like that. We just did it out of respect to be cool. But yeah, that was my channel, and I did that for many years up until when I started doing more hosting and doing more things and not wanting to be so behind a desk as much anymore. And then that's when I took more of a step in the talent direction and still overseeing the channels and programming. Liquid Metal is still my son, and I touch him all over the place in a good way. In a weird way, that was kind of crazy. I touch my son, Liquid Metal, every day.
It was a really good metaphor until you start talking about touching him.
I was going there deep for a minute.
Then it went wildly south. But I was saying to people, and this is, you don't have to agree or disagree, but you have become one of the most important voices in the metal community. Going and I'll get to my point with this in a second, but and that, like, when you release an album like I released For Love of Metal, it was like, wow, I hope Jose likes it, because you're not, I know that you don't have to like every single thing that you put on Liquid Metal necessarily. You don't got to be the hugest fan, but you're still the gatekeeper. You're still the guy that's is overseeing this thing.
Yeah,
it's your baby.
Yeah,
it's your baby. Now you can talk about touching your baby.
My son.
Yeah, you can't touch your baby either. I guess. But on my show, one of the things I'm really interested in with my guests, and I always, is the journey, like how a person gets to this point.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Because it doesn't always start out, when you start investigating, it turns out where they ended isn't necessarily where they started.
No, not at all.
And for people who watch this and they listen and they watch, is I like to share the commonality we have and inspire people by saying, look, this is the journey this guy, like I think it was last week, I was a director, your favorite director you never knew by name. His name is George Marshall Ruge. And George is the second unit director who did all the action sequences for Lord of the Rings, all of the Pirates of the Caribbean, The Wall, those huge battle scenes, those amazing scenes. I mean, those are the money shots. You go to see an action movie, and again, everything builds suspense, but ultimately, you want to see the fucking battle, And George does those scenes. He's like the premier guy. And I was like, he's a friend of mine. I was like, how'd you get there? He goes, well, I was an actor. I'm like, wait a minute. You're second unit director in New Zealand doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You were an actor? Yeah, and then acting led to stunt work. Stunt work led to stunt coordination. And eventually these opportunities happen, and he took them, and now he's becoming a full-blown director, and his path started as an actor.
Nice.
So I've never had the chance to talk to you about, how do you get to be, besides the true, and I gotta say this, such a true fan of metal.
Oh, thank you, Dee. That's true. That's number one right there.
Genuine, loves it. It's just, when we were doing Devil's Dozen, and we were doing his show, and he was like, okay, we're gonna film Devil's Dozen. Sing it with me. Okay, Devil's Dozen. And he was like, doing stretches and vocal warm-ups, and he was getting ready. I go, what are we doing? It's freaking radio. Yeah. He was getting ready to sing Devil's Dozen.
It's physical too, man. Yeah, I throw myself into everything, man. And metal was always the core, the nucleus behind my drive since I was a little kid. But I was raised on the Mexican border in Arizona, in Douglas, Arizona.
Okay, so were you born, I mean, and you're Mexican descent, were you born in the United States?
Yes, in Phoenix.
Okay.
And I was raised most of my life in Douglas. My mom's from Sonora, Mexico, and my dad's a French-Irish white dude who was 49 when I was born. 19 years younger was my mom. So, and it was his second family. So he was a French-Irish white dude, very intelligent, politician, banker dude, just an army veteran, a Korean War, disabled in the Korean War.
My dad's a Korean War vet too.
Yeah.
Was his first wife or second wife?
His first wife was the American lady in Phoenix, and they had 6 kids. And then the second wife was my Mexican mom, and then they had 2.
So you've got some half brothers.
Yeah, that are like 50s, 60s and stuff.
Right,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
My dad passed 15 years ago when my daughter was about to be born. So, but it's crazy. But my dad always taught me education. He always taught me how to write essays, how to type, on how to just communicate, you know, via my voice.
Okay, you
writing.
You said essay, and what does that mean?
No. I said he would help me write essays.
No, it just made me think.
Oh, essay?
It was
essay is like vato, cool dude, Holmes, man.
Is it a word or is it initials?
ESE. Essay, like essay.
So it literally means like dude?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Because okay.
Yeah,
you said
dude.
The word essay. You made me think of.
But I meant to say. I said essay.
I know exactly what you meant.
Okay, cool.
Reports, papers.
Yes. And my dad, I was a super nerd, man. So I loved chemistry in high school, and I decided to focus on that. And I got a full ride academic scholarship to University of Arizona. Out of my 222 graduating students in my senior class, I was the 3rd most amount of scholarships, financial grants, and awards.
Hold it. This is my now. This is the first time I'm interviewing you.
Go for it. Yeah,
you've interviewed me. That's
many times. Go for it.
Put the brakes on.
Go ahead.
Okay, so high school. You're a good student. Chemistry major.
Yeah.
Metal fan?
Long hair. I started growing my. Okay, so I mean, if we're talking metal here,
I'm just trying to think. So so you're a chemistry major. But now you're.
I think I skipped a big little part of it. It started in kindergarten when my cousin, 6 years older, long hair, black T-shirts, black light posters in the back shed where they had motorcycle parts and stuff. He was my cousin in Douglas, right on the border, and him and his friends listened to metal. And I would go there as a little kid visiting my cousin and my aunt's house, and I would see all these posters: Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Twisted Sister,
the cool cousin,
Motley Crue.
All right,
the cool cousin. And then he would have chicks, and he would drink, and he would freaking smoke, and he had long hair. And I was like, that's what I want to be. And so in kindergarten is when I got my first tape, Shout with the Devil, Motley Crue. And I got it with my grandma's gift for Christmas was $20. And I went to Kmart with my dad the next day, and I got Shout with the Devil on tape. And then about a week later.
Wait a minute, no, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I got to keep throwing the brakes on.
Go ahead.
So my dad's Korean War vet.
Yep.
And he was tough. I mean, depression baby. So he grew up in a depression, fought in Korean War. He was my dad was a cop. So he wasn't, he didn't stop me from rocking, but he wasn't crazy about it either.
Yeah, my dad, I think my mom was so anti it because of the devil and the Satanism and all that stuff back in the day.
Mexicans are deeply religious, a lot of them.
My mom and my grandmother were very afraid of my passion for metal since I was a little kid, because that's in the constant of my whole life, it was metal. There was G.I. Joes, there was football cards, but the constant was always metal, and my mom was always afraid of it. They always wanted me to pray and stuff. I was an altar boy even for many years.
Boy.
And I was in the church choir. I played guitar. I went to Catholic school. I did a lot of stuff with the nuns. I mean, I was a good kid, but I also just loved the hell out of metal. And my dad supported me on it because I got awesome grades, and he saw that I was really good with school, so he supported me. And my mom was always just scared.
Yeah, that was just funny. That's like,
how it was back in the day.
My parents, when my grades were good, they were kind of cool with it. But if my grades suffered, it was like the first thing they like took from me.
Yeah, of course.
Like if my grades went down, it was like, all right, you're not playing with the band anymore. Like, what?
That's why you got to keep your grades up. That's why you always got to have those awesome grades to really, and that's what I tell kids today is like how important school is. You think, oh, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It's not even, it's the journey. It's the places that it leads you to. So,
well, you know, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's also what kids don't, what we kids, I say kids, I didn't understand it either. It is training your mind to process things.
Yes.
So no, you're not going to take algebra with you and use it in day-to-day life or geometry, but just forcing you to figure out these equations, these puzzles, read these things, comprehend, understand. It's just training your brain to work. That's what's important.
And it's
you don't use any of it virtually unless you become a chemist.
I mean, that was that. And I love chemistry, and it was because of my love of weed too. I started smoking marijuana, and I have every day since 8th grade. And He's
always been a big supporter. He always stinks of weed, and now the world's catching up with him.
It is.
The whole world stinks of weed.
I've been such a huge supporter.
How happy are you that it's like, I mean, it's dude, legal? And
moving out to California, D, a few years ago, I can't believe where I live. I can't believe to be at the Rainbow, drinking a Modelo, ordering a pizza, and smoking a joint with the waitress taking your order. You know, right off the Sunset Strip. You know, right, and everybody's fine.
And knowing people got arrested and went to jail for this shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's crazy. It's happening, dude. I mean, money talks. That's a whole different thing. But I mean, but it also kind of stems to my love of chemistry. It was the marijuana plant, the cannabis. Like, what is it doing? And then I saw the movie, and I know you're a movie guy, a horror movie guy. Yeah. The movie Serpent in the Rainbow.
I remember it. What was it?
And Serpent in the Rainbow, it was about a zombie powder, and they used it and they buried people alive.
Oh yeah,
And it was a real drug. And at the end of the movie, it says, it shows like this is a real chemical. This is really used in witchcraft and voodoo, but it's a real
go back
chemical.
And watch that again.
Yeah, but and all that.
I remember that being really eerie because it was not real life zombie kind of thing.
And I liked that. And all of a sudden, like my love of horror and my love of science, it all kind of came together. And I was like, I want to do science. That's interests me. That I love that part of it. And so it was my junior year in high school where I just went boom, and I lasered focus. All my metal. I was in metal band since I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, playing guitar, bass, doing stuff.
I've known Jose for a long time. We've hung out. We've talked. I mean, we're not asshole buddies or whatever, but I consider him a friend.
Of course.
And this is the first time I'm finding out like all these like details.
It's cool. Well, no one ever asked me, man.
Well,
I'm always talking.
Asking. So you played guitar and
I played guitar, bass. I started playing in the 4th, 5th grade with my friend Andrew Rivas, and we would play everything, Metallica, Skid Row, and then Pantera came out later, and then that was it. And then Pantera just sucked me into metal so hard, more than any band before them. It was just Pantera.
And I want to acknowledge Pantera. Just on the level that during the dark days of metal,
the 90s,
the 90s, when Metallica even changed their logo to all, did the all tap, which I thought they were the one band that didn't have to. But it's not, I'm not going to beat up on Metallica because I think the world of those guys against all odds, what they achieved,
they're the giants
for themselves, for metal, and they did it their way,
and they're still doing it today.
And so bravo, and I love those guys. I toured with them years ago, but Pantera waved the flag always for metal when no one would say the word.
Yep,
they were so ballsy. They were so in your face. Such a fuck you attitude was the best.
And in '94, when they released Far Beyond Driven, #1 album on the Billboard 200, they beat out Garth Brooks and some other people. People were like, "What's this Pantera band? Who's this?"
Were you on the air at that point?
No, man. I mean, I started radio when I went to University of Arizona for my chemistry degree, and I started my freshman year in college.
I had my first metal show
in '95
in '94 called Metal Nation, and I was doing like 10 to midnight shift on some small station.
Yep.
I wanted to get into radio. This is '94. I'm Dee Snider, and I want to go into radio, and my agent says, you don't just step off an arena stage and walk into a 6-figure gig.
Yeah.
You got to prove your shit.
Well, radio doesn't
I'm
pay.
doing it. And I remember when Becoming was on Far Beyond Driven, right? And I remember putting on Becoming for the first time, and those drums kick in.
Yeah.
Literally, because it was the needle. It was literally potting the mic back up, opening up, pulling the needle over, going, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I literally just, did you hear those
Vinny
drums?
Paul, Vinny
Listen
Paul,
to,
man.
poor Vinny, rest in peace. Did you hear those drums?
Yes.
And started saying, pay attention, screaming, pay attention, start over. Oh man, unbelievable. Anyway, sorry. So you're a huge Pantera fan.
Yeah, I mean, just
game changer.
Yeah, I mean that they still are my guiding metal light. They're my #1 band. I have Dime's face on my leg. I just got a 333 tattoo and my CFH, my Cowboys from Hell tattoo redone on my right hand. The 333 is new, and I did that before the.
Is that half evil?
333. It's actually a Dime and Vinny time, you know, and it's a thing that when they were together, and even when Vinny was here, it was always their thing, their number. 333 AM PM. That's when you take a shot. It was just one of their things that they always talked about. And
3 is a good number.
So,
Very good number.
but I did that before I curated and hosted the Vinny Paul tribute at the Aftershock Festival in Sacramento a few weeks back. But that's a whole. Now we're jumping years ahead. But
I'll drag you back because there's steps here, and there's Tony Robbins. I'm a Tony Robbins guy, believe it or not, and he says success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Success leaves clues, and that's why people say maybe your journey isn't you want to be a heavy metal DJ and have your own show, whatever, and run the metal department someplace, but it's the clues here on how to get where you want to go through other people's stories. So, okay.
So I'm in college now, my full ride academic scholarship. I joined the radio station, and actually there was this dude, I was taking Spanish guitar class, and I still had long ass hair, and I was playing Metallica before class, and this dude named Matt Sullivan, I met him. Now I know his name, but at the time he just came up to me and he was like, "Hey, are you in the metal?" And I was playing Metallica, and I was like, "What do you think?" What do you think?
What gave it away?
Yeah, and I throw my hair back and I'm playing more Metallica, and he's like, "All right, hey, I work at the radio station. We don't have a metal show. Would you ever be interested?" And I'm like, I'm not a metal DJ. I remember saying that to him. I'm not a metal DJ.
All right,
I'm just a metal guy.
I gotta say, I always say to you people, opportunities come to people. Opportunities come, and people often don't even notice it, or afraid to take the shot. Now, you weren't necessarily afraid, but that was an amazing somebody was opening a door, and your initial response was, no thank you.
I'm not a DJ. I mean, I never was a DJ. I never thought I would be a DJ. I mean, I was always a bringer of metal. I was always someone that played metal at parties, in my car, introducing it to people, my friends growing up, watching Headbangers Ball, memorizing all that stuff, buying the tape, showing it to all my friends. I always did that, but I never thought I was a DJ. So when he said, "You want to be a DJ?" I was like, no. But he was persistent. And the next week on Thursday, I would be playing guitar, and he'd come up to me, "Hey, what's up, Jose? Oh, hey, man. Hey, you're gonna come to the radio station today?" I was like, "No, man. No, I'm not, dude. I'm not."
Do you
interested.
ever call this guy up and say, "By the way, thank you very much"?
Yes, he knows, dude. He knows. We've talked, man. He ended up in the business. So then he kept on asking me, and then I finally said, "All right, dude. Yeah, okay, Matt. I'll go." And I walked in to the student union, the basement in University of Arizona, and I walked in. It was way in the back. It was through the pool tables and everything, and it was way in the back, and it looked like a custodian door. And then you opened it, and it was this long chamber room, and it was covered in posters, stickers. The ceiling, the desks had stickers everywhere. There was just I saw a Korn poster that caught my eye right away. I saw a Rage Against the Machine poster.
Look how you remember this. How well you remember it.
Because it was
that was an event.
I've never seen. It was like a tunnel, and I saw my room was like that. When I was back in Douglas, but I just was like, what is this place? And they were so cool to me. The program director, Colin.
So this was your epiphany, right there.
Dude, I walked in and they were just so nice to me. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. They were like, "Yeah, man, we heard you're the guy that wants to do a metal show." And I was like, "Well,
want to do a metal show?"
I was like, I'm not a DJ, but I don't know what to do. But this is just cool. And they were so nice to me. And then they just told me what to do. And they were like, "Just do it." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." And then so I did it, and that's how I started my 1 hour show, and it was on a 1/2 watt station.
Do you remember potting up the mic for the first time?
No, not really. I did. No, I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah,
okay. I don't remember potting up the mic for the first time.
I don't.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
I remember the board. I remember
first screw. Do you remember your first big screw up?
I mean, I messed up a lot, man. But I never.
I'll tell you mine.
I never really tried to be good. You know what I mean? I was always just trying to be a messenger of metal.
Screw up.
Go for it.
Doing Metal Nation, one of my first nights on the air, and I'd seen on MTV, I'd seen Body Counts, There Goes the Neighborhood
on
MTV. So
one of those kind of mess ups.
I see the record and I go, awesome. Now I've heard it on TV. I put on There Goes the Neighborhood and did not realize that it was completely edited for MTV. And there is so much motherfucking and cocksucking and N-words and I froze like a deer in the headlights. It's just going out there, and it's rather than pulling it off, I potted down the volume inside the studio so I couldn't hear it. Like if I closed my eyes, I didn't go through the red light kind of thing. And I just sat there, and then the hotline rings, and it's my program director. Dee, what are you playing? I played There Goes the Neighborhood unedited. Fortunately, it was like midnight. Nobody's on listening anyway.
Dude, well, you had a huge station that you were on. We were a 0.5 watt station. My nose hair clipper had more wattage than our radio station, and it was really, I mean, only on the campus you can hear it, but nobody really did. It was an AM station, and then we also, the way that people heard my show was through Tucson Cablevision, channel 61 was the University of Arizona announcement channel. So they just, where it's just a stupid channel that just has announcements and it just scrolls up and it just keeps scrolling different things. You know, just like a community channel.
And there's a radio playing in the background.
The audio is our radio station. And that's how people would tune into my radio show. And I did that for 4 years before I went to Tennessee.
Okay. At this point, are you thinking this is a career thing?
No,
or is this
not at all. Never.
A hobby,
this is just fun. This was a cool way to get music before anybody else, to be on the forefront, to be listening to all this cool stuff.
You're getting advanced copies.
I'm getting CDs.
You're
all of a sudden,
new Pantera album.
I'm getting everything. I'm getting all the cool stuff. I mean, not just the baby bands that I didn't know about or I was discovering, but all the stuff that I was excited about, like Testament and the veterans who I love and I still love today, and that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my God, go to shows, interview people with my micro cassette recorder, horrible interviews. One of my very first interviews, and the first person to smoke hash with me was Chuck Billy from Testament. And I was like 19 years old, and it was at the Best Western in Tucson. And he was like one of the first big artists in my life that was just so cool to me. And I was at a tiny little station that nobody gave a shit about, but he was so cool to me. And it was after the show, and he gave me a Foster's can. I was 19. He smoked hash with me. He's like, hey, you smoke weed? I was like, yeah, I smoke weed. And then he's like, what about hash? I was like, yeah, I smoke hash. But I was like, no, I didn't. I was scared. And then I remember smoking out of his metal pipe hash with Chuck Billy in a parking lot.
Of course it was metal.
And of course, it's Testament. It's Chuck Billy.
Was it a hollowed out apple or anything?
No, nothing fruity like that. And it was just, I couldn't believe he was so nice to me. But I remember that, and to this day, he's one of my favorite dudes in my metal life.
Does he remember you?
Yes, he does.
All right. So at this point, you're just going, wow, I'm a metal fan.
Yeah.
I get to meet people. I get to go to the shows.
Yep.
I get free product.
Yep.
And I'm still playing metal. So still, you're not thinking.
And never money.
You're in college.
I'm in college, and I'm working at the Sunglass Hut, and then going to school, and I'm living off my scholarships and grants, and then I decide to go to graduate school. And this was the big move, Dee. This was when I moved my life from Arizona to Memphis, Tennessee, and I attended the University of Tennessee College of Pharmacy. The main campus was in Knoxville, where Peyton Manning was going to school at the time, and we had actually won the championship a year later, or that same year I went there, the first year, football championship. And I went to pharmacy school, but the reason I picked Memphis,
so you're still pursuing a chemistry career.
Yes. And because I didn't know any better. I was working so hard. This is what I was going to school for. So you're thinking like a Breaking Bad future for you? No, I just think I wanted to be a hospital pharmacist. I wanted to actually and even be clinical pharmacy and do research and do cool stuff.
You're still seeing this.
So and then
all right. So now I gotta say you're 20.
Barely 21.
Okay.
I turned 18 and 21 later than my friends. So I was barely 21 and in Memphis, Tennessee, going to school. And the reason I chose Memphis is because they had a great rock station. 92.9 WMFS was an active rock station, a heavier leaning active rock station. I used to research the charts in their playlists.
At the school? Or in the town?
In the town, in Memphis.
Okay.
So but I chose the school because of that radio station.
And are you thinking,
I'm going to try to get a job.
Got a job at the radio station. I still like that to be a.
I want to do a metal radio show on Saturday nights.
Okay.
And so I kept on calling. I kept on using contacts to get in touch with them. And people wouldn't respond to me. They didn't want to talk to me. I was a metal college kid. They were an active rock station. They didn't care. And then one day I kept on calling the program director. He did afternoons. And in between class in pharmacy school, I would go to the phone. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. And hallway phone, and I would call Addison, and he'd, 92.9, and I would pretend like I was a DJ. Hey, what's going on, Addison? It's Jose Mangin here from the campus, blah, 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 calling you again, blah, 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 to say, hey, I want to come and meet you. And he was like, oh, Jose, man, like, I don't have time, dude. And I was like, Addison, just real quick, if it'd be cool. And then I was persistent, and he was like, all right, after the holiday, come up like next week. And I was like, all right, cool, boom.
Pay attention to that. Persistence, wear them down. Almost everything in my life has been wearing people down. They just gave up.
But I was being cool. No,
not saying be a dick.
Yeah, never weird pushy. Never like, oh, this guy's psycho pushy. But I was just fun, positive pushy.
Yeah.
And then I went in and did this little interview. And right away he said, I heard your college air check tape. It's horrible. You won't be a DJ here. But you know what? I like your blah 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 blah. And you're cool. So you can help out in the promotions department. And then it was like a few weeks later, when I was with the music director, just hanging out with this other guy who was on the air at the time, and it was a Friday, and we were talking, we were getting along. I was just starting at the station in the promotions department, making no money, but just there to be there. And then one day, a weekend DJ, overnight guy called out, and the guy across from me, he was like, hey, you want to fill in tonight at midnight? And I was like, but Addison said I can't be a DJ. And he was like, no. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put you on. You want to do it? And I was like, well, yeah, okay. And it's all right. Boom. So midnight.
Just say yes.
Exactly. Midnight that night, I was on the air, 92.9 Memphis. Pretty, big station. I was used to the half a watt station, and I did a 6-hour show, and the guys came in.
6-hour air shift? You went through the night?
12 to 6.
Metal?
Yeah. No, active rock.
Active rock.
Godsmack, Korn,
so
Incubus,
it's already programmed.
Stuff. Yeah.
Active rock was pretty cool back then.
Yeah, it was really, it was cool, man. We were. I enjoyed that stuff. So, so Static X and things like that. So, I was there. They came in. They said, "Great job," and then I became fill-ins when they needed somebody.
So Addison said.
Yeah.
Did Addison say
both
you did good?
Clapper and Addison both said you did good, man. You sound good.
All
so
right.
then I kept on asking for a metal show, and and it was that Dave Clapper, the guy that gave me the shot for real. He said, "Let's do a metal show, and I'll help you program it. Let's do it." And I'm like, "Yes." We started on Halloween of 1998, and
so anniversary was. I don't know when this is going to air, but anniversary
that's true.
is tomorrow.
It was the Halloween. That's why I didn't even think about it. Halloween, and I did my 2-hour metal show, and it was awesome. And there was a lot of calls. It was programmed smart. My friend and I, we built clocks out from paper, pie charts and stuff like that.
The pie chart.
Analytical. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just play this. I'm a science nerd. Like I love graphs. I love to analyze.
All shows
things.
Work for even today.
Exactly.
Still, you have okay, music here, talk here, commercials
it's
there.
It's not just whatever you want. So it's all pretty much. It is scientific. So then I did that, and then it was cool. A year later, in Album Network, I won Metal Director of the Year. And,
are you
and that
being
was
paid
1999. Yet? No, not at all.
You're still not being paid.
No, I mean,
I think still going to school for chemistry?
An hour. I was still going to school to be a pharmacist, and I won this award, Best Metal Director in the country. And then I was featured in a little.
Were you surprised?
Yes, of course, dude. I mean, I've been into metal my whole entire life, So
now are you saying? Wait a minute. This maybe is a gig here.
That's at that point is when I said, "Oh shit, wait a minute." Because I started getting job offers in the business.
Yeah,
and a record label that you were at, and Strangeland soundtrack, TVT Records.
Oh shit, yeah.
TVT Records said, "Hey Jose, congrats."
Nine Inch Nails.
It was Seven Dust.
Seven Dust.
We had just signed. We had just released the first album. They were putting out their second album when I was joining their second album, Home. So JJ French,
my guitar player was a manager.
Yep. And so I said, "Hey, we'll fly you out to New York, man. Just come see it. We want to talk to you about a job." I was like, "I can't. I have 3 years left to be a doctor. I can't."
You were going for your doctorate?
Yeah, doctor of pharmacy degree. Yes.
Holy shit.
It was big, dude.
Now he's a doctor of metal.
Yeah, I know. But I was like, I know, I can't. And they flew me out to New York. I fell in love. I'd never been. I saw the buildings and everything. I was like, what the fuck? And they saw the TBT Records office, and I was like, this is. And they wanted me to be their metal guy, the guy that spoke to dudes like me around the country at the label. They wanted me to be their metal director, promotions guy, the guy that called metal directors like myself and pimped out our bands on the label. And
my brother Mark was at Atco East West.
Okay.
So he was handling Pantera.
So
he was Pantera's promo guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
From day one, Pantera kicks ass. He was Pantera's guy.
That's a big position.
Yeah.
I had a smaller position, you know, but it was still something. And at the time they were like, we'll pay you this, which was nothing. Looking back, I mean, it was nothing. But
now you're living in New York.
Well,
did you leave school?
No, so then it was like I came back to Tennessee, and I called my dad. And I told you earlier, my dad was super studious, very education. He supported me, but he was like school, because all of his kids are doctors, professionals, lawyers, deans of colleges and stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, pharmacists. So all of his kids are super, like very big positions. And I was going for that as well. And so I talked to my dad and I told him the opportunity. And then he said, you have to do this. And I said, Dad, but what about school? What about pharmacy? I've worked.
He said you have to do this?
He was the one. He told me. D, he was the one. He was on the phone. He was telling, he was elderly, you know, and and he was like, you have to. And I thought he was going to convince me not to because of how school he is. And then he was like, no, Jose, don't you see? You've been doing this your whole life. You've been into metal since you were a little kid. Look at now you have this opportunity. He's like, you can't regret this. And then he told me a story that he never told me ever. And it was that he wanted to be a lawyer. And but because of pressure of the family and whatever, he joined the army. And then the Korean War happened. And then he was enlisted, and then injured, disabled, alcoholic. I mean, it messed his whole life. Everything changed for him. And he regretted it every day.
Why he fought. This is what he fought for, man.
Yes. I know,
for his sons and family to have.
I know, it's crazy. I always get emotional when I talk about this shit.
I understand. I'm getting emotional too.
So my dad
why I wear
said,
sunglasses. You can't tell.
I have mine right here. So my dad was like, "No, you got to do this. You don't regret this like I do every day, Jose." And I was like, "Oh,
that is so."
And I was like, "Dad, but what about the student loans?" And you know, I took out so much in student loans for that 1 year of pharmacy school. It was so expensive. And he was like, you'll pay that back. Don't worry about it. You have to do this. And so with that dude, my dad cried, then I cried. And then I was like, oh shit. So then I called TBT and I was like, I'm doing it. And so I left pharmacy school, but I still had a semester in Memphis left before I was moving to Jersey City and to a small apartment. And what I did was I worked at the University of Memphis in the pharmacy department, Veterans Hospital. I worked at the Veterans Hospital. I worked at a Mexican restaurant, and I worked at the radio station. I had 3 jobs. And I went to, and then that was it. And I was getting ready to go to Jersey. And then I taught chemistry lab actually for a semester at the University of Memphis.
How does TBT record promo lead you? Because I'm assuming
there's one last step. There's one last step. Yeah.
Oh.
So, all right. So I'm in Jersey. I'm in working in New York City. This is June of 2000. I started February of 2000 in New York City, but living in the ghetto in Jersey City. And then in June, I got a call from some dude from Sirius Satellite Radio, and he wanted 50 albums from TBT, a back catalog, a huge order. And at the time, there were so many .coms that were building and coming up, and managers were like, you can't send it to everybody because we don't know if they're reporting, if they're charting, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, DJs were selling these things on the side.
Exactly.
So DJs don't get paid a lot of money. Now, only the big ones do.
Yeah.
The big ones do. And so some of them would survive by selling what we call cutouts. They'd get the what do you call it, the free stuff from the labels, then they go sell it to a local store.
So the manager was like, I knew my manager was going to give me a hard time, and I was like, dude, what's Sirius Satellite Radio? He was like, it's this thing with satellite radio and subscription-based service. I'm like, what? I don't.
Had it started yet? Howard move over there?
No. This is June of 2000.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So it's just an idea.
Nobody knew about it at that point. I mean, some people in the know did, because it started in the 90s just to get the technology and the licenses from the government. I mean, it took billions of dollars in capital, but that's a whole other thing. But June of 2000, I was like, what is Sirius Satellite Radio? I was like, send me some information. I have to convince my manager about this. So he sent me a brochure. I was on the PATH train from New York City to New Jersey. And this is another very vivid memory. I was looking at this pamphlet, and it was one of those narrow kind of ones, those fold out ones, and I was looking at it and started reading about the technology, the satellites, and from Russia being launched, and the licenses and the whole thing. That, you know, I mean, this is all science. This used to be the Star Wars as empty satellite space, and people fought to see what they were gonna do, and satellite radio was the thing that won. And so there was this whole thing, and then it talked about the executives that were a part of it. A lot of them came from Music Choice at the time, and there was all these people. And then I saw the channel guide, and then I was going through it. I was like going through it, and I saw heavy metal 24/7, and I shit my pants on the train.
I was passionate about metal.
I shit my pants on that train. A piece of turd. I swear, D, I swear. It came out. It wasn't a full, and it didn't pop out. It just came out, and it got like, I sucked it back in. Oh, but I stained myself, dude. A turtle head came out. Yeah. So then I was freaking out, and I was like shaking. I was like, 24/7 metal, national radio station. And I was like trying to catch my breath. The next day I called him. I was like, dude, Jerry, dude, blah, blah, blah. I'll send you whatever. I don't care what. I'll send you doubles. Who is the rock guy? Please tell me who his name is. Let me know who he is so I can email him and tell him Don K. You know
Don K?
Don K.
My brother, that I told you about, the promotion guy, he was the creator of Metal Shop, the syndicated show.
Yes.
My brother.
That Don produced.
My brother produced it, developed it, wrote it, did all the interviews, and it was voiced by some other guy, Charlie Kendall. Kendall. And then when my brother wanted to move on after about 5 or 6 years, and Metal Shop is a dominant force in the country. I was so proud of Mark Snider, my brother Mark. He trained Don.
Wow.
And then handed the show off to Don K.
Wow.
My brother went on to work for ACO East West and promotions. He moved on to a new direction. So he was just like, I handed off Heavy Metal Mania, and he handed off Metal Shop, and Don K got that. But now Don K is over at Sirius,
and he's the metal rock guy.
Yeah, he became the metal guy,
and he was a big journalist as well, and a big metal supporter. And then I wrote him this long ass email on how I live, shit, and breathe metal, and it was a crazy email. Looking back, he was insane. It was probably something I'd be scared of now, maybe, but it was just, I was just pouring my love out in this long ass email, because I thought, this is my shot, dude. This is a 24/7 metal station. And then I started to see, holy shit, I fucking need to be here. So I'm like, fucking dude, I'll do whatever it takes. I just want to meet you. And I invited him to a Nashville Pussy concert, because they were on our label at Irvine Plaza. He came by, he met me at Irvine.
Strangeland soundtrack.
Yep. He came by and he said, what's up to me? And he found out that I wasn't psycho, invited me back up to the studios. And when I was there in the studios, being a nerd that I am, I memorized the pamphlet that Jerry had given me. And I was sitting in the lobby of the New York City. They were barely building these headquarters. It was plastic walls still, and you've seen it. It was plastic walls instead of the glass walls that are there now. Walking down the hallway was the head of programming at the time, an Italian lady, Maria Carchidi. I got up and I went right over to her and I said, hey, Maria, nice to meet you. I'm Jose Mangin. And she looked at me. She's like, how do you know who I am? Who are you? What are you here for? And I said, I don't know. I'm a metal guy, and I'm here to talk to Don K. And she was like, oh, and we started talking, and she really liked me. She asked me where I was from. I told her the Mexican border. She's like, do you know Spanish? I started talking Spanish with her. She started asking me about some other things about me. I told her about my pharmacy, about my education. She was like, oh my God. And then she was like, do you know Spanish?
You became very proactive, though. At a certain point, once you were dragged into it by Addison. Addison was that the guy who kept saying, come down to the radio station, come down to the radio station?
Oh, that was Matt Sullivan.
Matt Sullivan. And then each time, then your dad had to say, no, Jose, take this opportunity. But once you got in there, At that point, you were like a laser beam.
I knew. Dude, I've never had heard of a 24/7 metal station ever. There wasn't such a thing.
No, you said 2 hours. That was it.
Exactly. And that's what I was happy with as well forever. But this was something different. And she was so nice to me, and we got along so well. And then she asked me about Spanish bands, and I started listing off all these Spanish rock bands, and she said, "You're perfect." And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, we're starting a Rock en Español channel as well. And you would be really good for that. And I was like, oh my God. And then so I met Don. Don really liked me there. I met his boss, and then I had talked to their boss. And then 2 weeks later, D, they offered me double what I was making at TVT to build the rock department at Sirius Satellite Radio. And so that was the summer of 2000, and I just passed my 18th year anniversary. Now I'm on my 19th year. There's only 4 other people in the programming department of music that have been there as long as I have. Right. And it's the reggae, it's the R&B dude, and it's the country dude. In summation, because we have to end the show. So that's fucking crazy. Sorry. No. Yeah. That's the journey. That's the journey. That's the journey. That's it. That's the journey. So now I understand. I mean, you inserted yourself in the conversation, and you never let you just. And I know you're passionate. You work hard. So this chemist, this heavy metal chemist from the Mexican border and all that stuff, I see your world now, and you have it all right now. I can't believe it. You have it all right now. I'm so blessed. You got a beautiful wife. You got beautiful kids. You're running the show there. They've created your own studios on the West Coast. You got your own studio away from Sirius with Affliction. You're right there in there. They built it for you. You're associated with Affliction Clothing. By the way, I know. I see the shirt. Of course, Jose Mangin official. The metal ambassador. And I wear it not just when you're here. It's it's an awesome shirt. Thank you, D. I love that. I wear it. It's I love this shirt. They've been so cool to me, man. They've just allowed me to do what I do. But you've got Jose Mangin World, man. And D. I'm not done. I want to keep, I have a drive that is fucking insane, and I want to keep doing it. I'm going to start my own festival in 2019. I'm going to do a lot of cool things in the world. I'm not done. I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm very blessed. I'm just so positive and good to everybody on and off the radio, on and off the camera. That's not, that's an understatement. It's just karma points, and I'm just building karma points. And the greatest thing about my career, dude, about my life is my idols have become my friends, dude. And that's the craziest part. Dee Snider, I could never imagine hanging out with you when I was growing up, hanging out with Dave Mustaine, hanging out with Ozzy, hanging out with Vinnie Paul, Tom Araya, these Chuck Billy, Joey Belladonna. These are my idols. And Rob Halford and Ronnie James Dio. And to be able to know these dudes and then call them friends and smoke weed with them and then make you guys tacos and margaritas, that's fucking the world to me, bro. Well, it's everything you said. You're a genuine person, you're a passionate person, and that communicates. No bullshit, Jose. Thank you, brother, man. And that's why people like you, and that's why people are happy for you. No one's sending out. I honestly feel, and this is actually a story for another time, because but I'll just say that I honestly feel there was a point in my life where I was being such a dick to people that they were, they weren't giving me the metal horns. They were jinxing. They were bad karma points. And it all came apart for me. And when I picked myself up and regrouped, I said, I ain't doing that again. Yeah. I'm not gonna be a dick to people, and you are a great example of a person who's positive. I'm assuming it's just always been that way with you. Yeah, man. And it pays off. So that's another thing to remember. I don't care what the movie Wall Street tells you or Wolf of Wall Street tells you. Be a scumbag the way to the top. I mean, for genuine happiness. And follow this model here, because never did it for money. I've seen his life, I've seen his world, and I know my life and my world, and it's a much better way. It's a better way to get where you want to go, and you feel good when you get there. You feel you earned it, you deserve it, and there's nobody out there
who's giving you the evil eye, thinking, fuck you.
No, man.
Not a person.
It's just a crazy drive, and I'm just very blessed, man. And I want to be good. I want to make this music heard. I want to help out the scene in the community and everybody. I want to make it unite. I want to bring people together,
tremendous
dude.
Supporter for the love of metal, brother.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's what I always say too. And damn, it's because of you and your song now. I say it all the time. We do it for the love of metal, liquid metal. So I say it all the time, dude.
Thank you. And now you're going to a concert.
I'm going to see Siler, Knocked Loose, and Beartooth.
Great band,
Awesome band. We love them. We play them on both Octane Liquid Metal. So we've been supporting them forever.
I'm going to take, my daughter was born on Halloween.
Oh.
And, but she's
a
like,
metalhead, tattoo chick.
Oh, she is so heavy.
She's so cool.
But she's an influencer now. And so she's hosting host parties in the city. Like she's the host, and there's a big party tomorrow for her birthday. But we're going to see Halloween tonight. So.
Oh, the remake?
Yeah,
the new one? Oh, I took my family this past Sunday. We loved it. I saw it twice.
So we're going. So Jose, thank you so much for coming to be on my show.
Thank you for letting me to be on here. This is really cool, man. Thank you very much.
And this is I Want to Talk. See you next time.
Yeah.